Hey everyone, it's good that you're here. In this video, I want to open the Akashic records of peace of mind. Now, I feel very inspired about the topic recently. One way because I have been meditating for more than 12 years now, and peace of mind has become quite the default. But now, as so many people are losing their minds in a way and are so captivated by what's happening in the world, I almost feel like there is this weird superpower that it's actually not a superpower, it's actually a normal state of mind. But I see so many people struggling at the moment with it, with what is going on in the world, what is going on with themselves, what's going on with everything around them. Many people come to me saying, "Oh my God, can you help me? I need to calm my mind." Now, the Akashic Records have always been able to give me a higher perspective on any topic that we are processing or that we are discussing. So I'm about to open the Akashic Records of Peace of Mind, and what you're going to hear in this video, it's going to be a direct channel. So most of the time with channels, you will probably feel the energy, especially if you're sensitive, you will feel the energy. It's best and advised to just sit back. It's not a meditation, it's a transmission. But the best way to receive a transmission is to just sit back and receive. So get comfortable. Take some deep breaths. You may even fall asleep. You may have a very colorful imaginary trip. Your mind can process this in so many ways. So don't try to do it right. Know that your subconscious already knows exactly what needs to happen when it comes to this energy. And my intention is that after this transmission, we all will know a little bit better how we can cultivate peace of mind, how it can become our natural state, so that we can live in a state of peace. And not only it's an incredible gift to ourselves, but also it will be an incredibly beautiful gift to the people around us, right? To someone who might feel very chaotic and out of balance. And you might just hold their hand and look them in the eye and say, "It's okay." And by you being in that state of peace of mind, they will immediately allow themselves to relax because you were able to hold this very beautiful frequency. I'm so curious what they're gonna say, so let's just dive in. I didn't open the records of peace of mind yet. I'm gonna open them now, and what you're gonna hear is gonna be a direct channel from the Akashic records of peace of mind to you. Have a great one. Dear beautiful being, thank you so much for being willing and able to receive this transmission. This transmission has found you because you were asking some very specific questions on deepening of your own mental tranquility and energy. Yes, minds can be racing, minds can be very chaotic, minds can have all kinds of weird quirks that are not necessarily being classified as peaceful. Some of them quite the opposite. You have probably experienced sleepless nights where your mind was just thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking about everything it could think at that moment. There has always been moments where you were not able to concentrate because distraction and distractive thoughts kept on creeping in. And it almost felt that you could not do anything to change it. As if the mind has its own will. Now, let us start with that is not the case. The mind does not have its own will. It has its own intelligence. It has its own abilities, and the abilities of the mind are quite beautiful. But the mind is here in complete service of you. Now, how can it be in complete service of you while you want to sleep and the mind is constantly racing and thinking about everything? How can that be in complete service of you? It is and it isn't. In those moments where the mind is distractive, or the mind is overthinking, or the mind is seemingly unable to calm down, what is happening is that it's a signal to you as the carrier of the mind to tame, to better take care and take leadership of it. Most of the time, such moments are like moments where a dog starts to unstoppably bark and bark and bark and bark. And you scream at the dog and you say stop and you say shush, and it just won't stop. Now, what does that say about the owner of the dog? If it's not your own dog and you see that happening from an outside perspective, you will probably, some will blame the dog, but others will blame the owner of the dog, of not being able to take his dog under control. And most of them will see it as a judgment of bad leadership. Now, we do not like to judge, but we know humans love to judge, and an untrained mind loves to judge. So let's talk in judgment a little bit here to make a clear picture. An constantly thinking mind that is unwilling to stop itself has nothing to do with the mind. It has something to do with the one who leads the mind. Just like the dog needs a better leader. When the dog has a great leader and it starts barking, maybe even with the intention to really bark its heart out, with a great leader, the leader just has to take one snip of the finger, one little flick, and say shh, and the dog will sit quietly next to the leader. The same can happen with your mind. As soon as it starts thinking, you can just say shh, and it closes, and it is peace, and it is silence. Is that truly possible? You bet it is truly possible. And if you haven't experienced this yet, we would like to start with telling how you can experience this and how you can become a great leader of your mind. Because the uncontrollable dog metaphor is quite a great metaphor here. Why? Because part of your brain is mammal. Also, part of your brain is reptilian. Those two brains are giving a lot of energy to the outer brain. You can basically see it as different shells, like an onion with different shells, or a half of a Matryoshka doll with different shells. What starts happening if the mammal brain starts to uncontrollably fire, the shell around it starts to uncontrollably think. So, if we want to stop the thinking, we need to train the mammal brain. How do we train the mammal brain? By consciously bringing it back to something it is intended to do. For example, if you want to focus on the present moment, and you want to focus on the task at hand, but you feel that you are constantly distracted. This is the dog constantly sniffing at other places. If you want the dog to focus and sit still and quietly, what you need to do is to show the dog its desired behavior. So you have to show the mind its desired behavior. If it's distracted, take a deep breath and focus yourself back on the task at hand. And that might work for a couple seconds and the distraction might happen. And focus as soon as you notice. Focus again your mind on the task at hand. Every time it focuses on the task at hand, you might even say to yourself, great, this is where I want you. What you're doing there is you are creating dopamine, which can function as a great snack for the brain. Your dopamine receptors can be like little snacks so that the brain knows that it is doing something right. So instead of being angry of that the mind is overthinking or constantly distracted or not doing what you want, it will not get any better by that. Instead of that, be very celebratory and grateful and encouraging when the mind does what it wants. So when it is distracted, bring it back to the present moment and say, amazing, this is where I want to have you. Just saying to yourself, amazing, this is the right place, will generate a little bit of dopamine. That little bit of dopamine trains the mammal part of your brain that it is doing the good behavior. It might be distracted again, bring it back, saying, great, this is where I want to have you. Every time you catch yourself in behavior that is undesired, and you bring yourself back to behavior that is desired, you train the mammal part of your brain. This is the key to training your mind. And this serves as the fundament of many meditative techniques. Why meditation can be such a gift in someone's life is because a person that meditates consciously decides to spend some time doing this and only this. And what you will notice is if you spend, let's say, half an hour of your day sitting with yourself, present with yourself, and every time you think or every time you are distracted, you bring yourself back to the present moment. You are training your mammal brain in rapid speed what is the right behavior. And if every time you catch yourself, you celebrate yourself from catching yourself, you can stack maybe a 50 wins in half an hour. Yes, that means that you have distracted yourself 49 times. But also you have catched yourself another 50 times. So, within half an hour of meditation, you can have 50 celebrations of yourself. And these 50 celebrations go hand in hand with the mammal brain understanding where it needs to focus its energy. And as soon as the mammal brain starts understanding, it will surrender to a greater leadership. And that greater leadership is you. Because every time it starts to become present and you give it some dopamine, it understands. And just like a puppy, it needs a little bit of time before it learns how to sit, before it learns how to stop barking, before it learns when it gives and needs food. If you don't give your mind that leadership, you will have a constantly misbehaving environment of thought and emotion inside of yourself. Peace of mind comes from taking leadership over yourself. And we want to express a great nuance here, because this message can be misunderstood and we want to be clear. Great leadership does not mean great control over everything. When someone is a great leader, that doesn't mean it controls everything to the T inside of, let's say, a business. When everything is too controlled, actually, most of the employees will start very sad and they will be robbed of their freedom and creative expression. No, a great leader, rather, is not necessarily a great controller. A great leader shows the way and shows the desired behavior, but also gives a sense of trust that after a little bit of figuring out, the new employee will get the desired behavior and will be able to express its own genius and its own creativity and its own energy inside of the project, inside of the team, inside of whatever needs to happen inside of that company. Just like that, a great leader of the mind does not mean a great controller of the mind. Control freaks are not primed and not wired to be peace of mind freaks. Peace of mind freaks have a different wiring in the sense that they will be able to let go and trust that the mind will figure out the most efficient, beautiful way to live. Especially given that it shows the desired behavior whenever it is outside of that. This is a beautiful nuance. So when you try to meditate, but you're constantly controlling and constantly believing that peace of mind needs to happen and every little twitch outside of that is a wrong mistake and a big buzzer goes off with thinking, and you have to get back to that state of peace, that's a controlling environment. Rather, let the mind get distracted. Let the mind be sniffing around in its many different facets. But when you catch it sniffing with great gentleness and calm, bring it back. And as soon as it is back, say, yes, this is where I want to have you. That's a different nuance to this process. Whenever you find yourself controlling, judging, feeling that thinking is a wrong thing, you are not doing yourself or your mind a service. Let the mind think, let the mind imagine. And while it is doing that, let yourself catch yourself imagining and thinking. And here is a beautiful insight. You catching yourself thinking cannot come from your thinking. It has to come from outside your thinking to be able to catch yourself thinking. So the one that catches is outside of the thinking. We might call it clouds or chaos. As if every thought generates a cloud. If you're inside of the cloud, you're completely riding the train of thought and thinking and making connections and doing all the things that a normal thinking mind does. But as soon as you catch yourself, that is that part that's observing the thought. Only the observer can catch the thought. So when you start to reward yourself from catching yourself and from bringing yourself back to the present moment, you will reward the observer part of you. And the observer part of you will grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And at one point, you will become such a good of an observer that the observer becomes your main state of being, and the thinker becomes a secondary state of being. While you maybe first thought of yourself as a lot of thoughts inside a body, you might start thinking of yourself as the observing awareness that is able to perceive thoughts and is able to perceive the body. And that state where your observer lives is a very peaceful state. And this is where we start to touch on the topic of peace of mind. It is of essence, when you want to cultivate peace of mind, that you do not identify anymore with just the doer or the thinker, but you are the observer, the observing awareness that can think, that can act, that can speak, but also has the ability to do none of that and just observe itself. Because in the action, when you're truly in the action, it can be exhilarating, it can be beautiful, it can be stressful, it can be all kinds of things. But action without the observer will never create peace of mind. Thinking without knowing that you are the observer will never create peace of mind. Speaking without you also knowing that you are the observer will never truly create lasting peace of mind. But if you start to observe while you speak, observe while you act, observe while you think, what starts happening is peace of mind starts to naturally become the state where you find yourself in again and again and again. And when you are just starting out, you might, after a week of embodying the protocol that we just have been describing, start to experience half a minute of that peace. But after 2 weeks, that might be a minute. After 3 weeks, that might be 10 minutes. And when it gets 10 minutes, it might very soon get half an hour, and an hour, and all of a sudden a couple hours. And this quickening of the peaceful state will get better and better and better until your whole life is enveloped in peace. And someone can then come to you in a state of chaos and despair, and your peace will not be interrupted. And someone can come to you, maybe a loved one, and says something that would normally hurt you. But because you are the observer, you observe that something is triggered in your system, and you notice that, but you're also not identified with it anymore. And you just notice that happening and allow that to happen, but you also are enveloped in this observing state that is constantly generating peace of mind. And that trigger that the person just pushed inside of your emotional body is not something that captivates you anymore. And you are available to stay peaceful while a person triggers you or offends you. or disrespects you. And this is where the true power of peace of mind lies. Reaction becomes an option. And when reaction becomes an option, you are not swayed by life anymore and has the feeling that you do not have any power or influence over where your mind is going or where your emotions are going or how you're reacting. All of a sudden there is an option. I can react or I can stay present. I can shout or I can stay present. I can offend or I can stay present and see what happens when I do. Now, lots of untrained minds are afraid of this incredibly beautiful state of being. And we sometimes ask ourselves here, why are humans so afraid to achieve a state of peace of mind? And what we have found out by talking to many of you and providing readings to many of you, recording your journeys along the way, is that peace of mind also requires to be the observer when life is boring, or to be the observer when life is irritating, or to be the observer when life is sad. Peace of mind means that there is a certain level of true honesty in all of these states of being that the mind is avoiding. You have to, in a way, make peace with the mundane and boring parts of your life. Normally the mind would distract itself, or it would call somebody, or it would turn on the TV as soon as you just come a little close to these states of being that you don't want to look at. But your true liberation is coming from wanting to look at the things you do not want to look at. Especially now you know you can just be the observer. Be the curious, witnessing awareness as you dive into these states. Oh, I feel boredom. Oh, I feel the urge to watch the TV and turn on the TV. Let me just see what happens when I observe myself when I am not turning the TV on. And just sit back and gather some of your spiritual popcorn and start watching yourself. Watch yourself, and whenever the mind gets too distracted, bring yourself back to the witnessing awareness. Bring yourself back to the present moment. Watch yourself. Now, this can be so scary to some, but once you have passed this state of being okay with your boredom, of being okay with any emotion, like being alone, like being confused, like being irritated, like being shameful, like being sad. All of the emotions that somehow feel so bad you want to get out of them, and actually to sit inside of them, that's where the second part of this journey will truly liberate you from everything that you have been fearing for so long. And instead of chaos and a lot of thoughts and overthinking and constantly feeling unsafe and constantly feeling not enough, what starts happening is you start to land into a state that is okay with every part of life, that knows it is going to be okay in every part of life. And that loves it. You will like this state so much, you don't want to go back 1 second to the previous state of mind. We promise you that. You will have so much fun and bliss and joy in this state of mind that you will not, even if we would offer you $1 million to go back to your confused, untrained state of mind, you will not take that $1 million, because this is how good this state is. It is indescribable, ineffable. And at the same time, it's so mundane. And it's so natural. And so human. And that's what we wish for all. We wish for all of you to receive this state of mind. Now there are in a way multiple ways to reach this. Some reach it while running. And they will also have an effect after the run or walk, where they still feel peaceful the rest of the day. Some require it by meditating. This is, in our opinion, one of the most effective and efficient and proactive ways to achieve peace of mind. Now others, they achieve it by letting their life and their mind get so crazy, absolutely crazy, up until the point of insanity, and all of a sudden they surrender. And even though it is a way to achieve peace of mind, we do not advise to go that way. Because yes, that is a way, but there is a lot of destruction impaired with this method. We like you to take a more proactive look. So what does that mean? Find forms of meditation, and with meditation we not only mean sitting in silence, we mean the yogic practices, we mean breathwork practices. Everything that somehow focuses the attention again and again on the body and on the present moment is great to achieve peace of mind. We also advise exercise in the form of body movement, running, cycling, swimming, dancing. Things where you move your body in a very present way, and with some of these sports you can even go into a trance. The competitive sports are different. The competitive sports have their own advantages, but many people in competitive sports will still have an unpeaceful mind. Many of them are trying to find the winning tactics and are judging what goes wrong and what have you. Now we mean the sports where you can truly go into trance-like states of being, which can be running, which can be walking, which can be cycling, which can be skating, and which can be dancing, among others. These are, in our opinion, in your reality, the most beautiful activities that you can be doing to facilitate the journey into your peace of mind. But to help you even further, we want to send you some additional frequencies that allow you to get into a peace of mind state even faster. So allow yourself to take a big deep breath in and allow yourself to just observe and be present. Maybe take a couple moments where you are practicing what we have been describing over this transmission, this very simple way of achieving peace of mind. Observing, then somehow the mind will go on its own way, and then you bring it back to the here, to the now, and you say, this is the state. Yes, this is where I want to have you, in the now. And at one point it will go back again, and you bring it back into the now. And while you are doing that, for the next couple of moments, we will send you the codes to achieve peace of mind with a greater ease. Let's take a big breath inward. Exhale, relax. Let this experience just be the experience. No need to judge. We know you already have worked on your peace of mind. It's hard to explain someone that has never experienced the state before. To explain a state that has never been experienced before is utterly impossible. We can only point towards it with the great intention that you will at one point achieve it, and you will know that this message will have contained one of the seeds for you to get there. And we are beyond grateful that you're willing and open to receive one of these seeds. We have given you the seeds to grow peace of mind, and we also have given you the way to cultivate peace of mind in this transmission. It's a completely new state of living and being. It's a different state of nervous system. It's a different state of hormones. And you will emanate a field of peace, not only inside of yourself, but to your loved ones and to your friends. And you and your field of peace is needed in this time and in the coming years, as the world will go into big forms of transformation. The peacekeepers are the most valuable humans on the planet. You will be able to generate so much value by actively cultivating this state of being. Your family, your loved ones, your community will thank you from the bottom of their hearts of showing them that it was possible to achieve peace even in turbulent times. And that's why we are so grateful that you are here. We embrace you in the same peace we have been pointing to, and we look forward to transmit more of these beautiful, potent energy transmissions with you. Have a great journey, dear one. In the highest love, we are complete. Wow. I'm still landing from this session, and I will go into nature to ground myself a little bit. Thank you for being here. Would love to know in the comments, what has been your experience? What did you feel? What did you see? And wow, I feel so interesting at the moment. It's almost hard to talk and end the video, but I would love to slowly I would love to slowly thank you and say goodbye. And I have been planning at the moment to make a lot more videos on peace of mind, basically because I was reflecting and I was like, what is a skill that I in a way mastered? What is something that I truly feel I did so much work on that I can give others? Where am I truly an expert at? And peace of mind was one of the things that popped up that previously I didn't really realize. But as soon as it popped up, I was like, yeah, of course. I've been working more than a decade on finding my own peace of mind. and I was so chaotic. I was completely blocked by my thoughts. I was so insecure. I was so blocked. I'm so grateful I did this work, and I now am daily in a state of bliss and presence. It's so hard to talk about this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And part of this YouTube channel and part of this experience is to uncover this topic more of peace of mind and show many different angles. That's part of what I want to do this month. I want to create many videos on it. This Akashic Channel was one of them. So thank you. If you want to watch more peace of mind videos, I will have more probably here inside of my hands. And they will all cover a different angle on the topic. And basically I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. And let's all cultivate this state, because it is absolute bliss, and we will be of service to so many people. And literally everything that we want to create can come from such a more profound state that we have ever felt before. So I love it. Thank you for growing with me. Thank you for being here. I see you in the next one. Bye bye.